lessen the footprint of the evacuation area. I'm not sure how much that, what that number fluctuated to. So it's tough for me to say.
So at the max, at the height of the 2,500 people who evacuated, some have been let in since.
That is correct, and we're expecting this afternoon in order to allow even more back in.
Sheriff, I may have missed this. I apologize for coming in a little bit late. When was the first phase of letting some people back in who were initially evacuated?
That was about 36 hours into the onset of the fire itself. So we were able to substantially move our roadblocks up some. Certainly it still displaced a number of residents that had a lot of concern and angst about that, but we're hopeful by this afternoon, and very optimistic we'll be able to do this. But this afternoon we're going to let even more back in.
Do we have a specific roadway where you've lifted the evacuation for the first phase?
That will be forthcoming. The first phase, yes, we have a map of that. I won't do it justice trying to verbally draw it from memory, but we do have a map of what the first phase is, and we are finalizing a map for what we hope to be the second phase this afternoon.
Okay.
Yes,
Josh from the appeal. We reported yesterday that we had 4 reported missing, 1 found safe, 1 dead, and the 2 others, are those the 2 new fatalities that were missing that we reported on this morning? The 2 newest fatalities?
Yes. So we have 2 confirmed and we have 2 that, based on the circumstances that we have, some initial findings, I'm confident in saying we have the 2 additional that were early reported as missing, and saying that we have 4 fatalities, with 1 that we're still following up on, and I will not venture to guess whether that is in fact going to prove to be a fatality at this point or not.
Got it. How many missing currently?
We have 1 that we are following up on that we haven't quite been able to locate. And I'm equating that to the 1 that may be the follow-up of a possible fatality.
Got it.
Okay?
And what area were the new fatalities located at?
Generally speaking, what we refer to as the Loma Rica area.
Is Marysville Road open all the way to Brownsville?
Not at this time. At this time, that Marysville Road is blocked at Spring Valley Road, but we do expect that by this afternoon that we will have be able to move that roadblock on Marysville Road much higher up.
Much higher up.
Okay.
So you're not going to open Marysville Road to Brownsville in the next 12 hours?
Well, stay tuned for this afternoon in finalizing that map, and I think that we may have an opportunity to very respectfully have free access on Marysville Road is what we're anticipating.
Sheriff, can we get into, we've been kind of talking about nuts and bolts. I kind of want to get into the emotional aspect of this. I know that wildfires happen every single year. This kind of seems to be a little bit worse, and there have been fatalities. Can you kind of weigh in on that? Can you kind of reflect on what you've seen these last 3-4 days?
Oh, certainly, and I believe fire professionals here to my right will say that will verify this. The fire events that have happened since Sunday, Monday of this week throughout the state of California, and certainly the Cascade Fire in Yuba County, has been an unprecedented fire event of magnitude, of intensity, and immediacy of fires raging at a high speed and a high velocity through areas in the middle of the night. I will tell you, I've been doing this for 31 years, all in this county. We're certainly no strangers to a number of wildfires. My staff, and any of our local firefighters that have been assisting on the Cascade Fire have never experienced anything like this. And the further hindrance to no discredit or to any criticism to CalFire. If anything, empathy and support and praise should be for them, that because of the magnitude of all these different fires, that in many other jurisdictions continuing to rage on, and even when they thought they had a higher level of containment or even further have gotten out of control on them, which is why we have been very protective in what we're willing to lift evacuation notices on to not put people back in more danger. But the issue that the fire personnel throughout the state are dealing with, and it's impacting law enforcement as well, is not enough resources for huge fires in so many different jurisdictions. What you heard the fire chief say, we were doing a yeoman's job, a phenomenal job, from a law enforcement and a fire perspective locally, with a 16th of the resources that historically would be working a fire the size of Cascade. And further, our mutual aid law enforcement requests that we have asked for, we're not going to probably get the ask that we had today because there's a greater need going elsewhere, and they're being redirected to other locations. So it's been a real challenge. So to answer your question, what's happened this week is something that has never been experienced before. And we're doing the very best that we can to keep everyone safe and to return them to their homes as fast as possible and get them the information they need. Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry for the loss of life, but there was also a loss of large animals, and I keep hearing again and again, and some that were safe, which were great. Are there any resources available for those people who need to bury or remove their large animals from their property?
Yeah.
Because I'm concerned that it could become a health hazard if we can't get back in there and take care of it ourselves.
Absolutely. In fact, that very topic being discussed very aggressively even this morning. It's difficult at this point for us to give an accurate estimate as to the loss of livestock on the properties because we really haven't had an opportunity because of safety concerns and ongoing fire risks to get down into those properties that were burned to really make an accounting. But that is being worked on right now, and to get the necessary logistical support to move any of those animals out for the very health reasons that you had talked about. I would say from the onset of this fire, and that it continues today, the Yuba County Sheriff's Department posse, Animal Care Services, and some volunteer support as well, we have evacuated about 105 horses, cows, and other livestock. They've been taken to the Sheriff's Department Posse Arena on Marysville Road, the Yuba Center Fairgrounds, and we also opened up the Sutter County Sheriff's Department Posse Arena as well, in which to care and feed for those for a peaceful reunion at the appropriate time to their owners. And well over 100 small animals, meaning dogs and cats, were further evacuated and rescued during the onset of us responding to this fire. Throughout this event, our men's and women's posse has been at homeowners' requests that have been displaced by the evacuation. We have gone up to their properties and water and fed, and to do welfare checks on their animals as well, and we will continue to do that until the owner can come back and properly tend to their animals. Any other questions? All right, folks, thank you very much for being here. I just want to again conclude, residents of Yuba County, your welfare, your safety is the highest of our priorities, and we understand the anxiety. We're asking you, please, please, we're asking for an abundance, an overabundance of patience on your part, but the fire personnel, law enforcement, the entire Yuba County Emergency Operation Team has not stopped 1 second throughout this entire event to keep you safe and to render your area safe and to get you back there as quickly as we possibly can, and that will remain our highest priority. Our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone. This is our community. We are all devastated, but we are here to support you each step of the way. So please reach out to us through the call center or into the Sheriff's Department itself, and we'll do everything we can to assist you. So thank you for coming, and we'll continue to work this problem until we are it's completed. Yes, ma'am.
I have one last question. And I understand the reasons for the mandatory evacuation, but do you have to leave your property if under a mandatory evacuation? I've heard both from law enforcement and...
Yeah, fair question. And it is an enormous challenge for anyone in law enforcement. We certainly have experienced it in this event at a fairly high level. When we issue a mandatory evacuation, the order is we are ordering you to leave. However, it is not a matter that we are wanting to or desiring to arrest our residents and to force them out. Many folks in any disaster we've had, whether it's been floods or other fires, have chosen to stay. They do so at their own peril and at their own risk. We have, even though there's been a mandatory evacuation, within that zone of mandatory, some folks did not leave. Now, thankfully, they survived. but we have had increased encounters with them while we're patrolling the interior of the individuals. Those encounters have become more and more aggressive and hostile. When we've told them, look, we're not wanting to order you out, but we're asking you to please stay closer to your home or at least stay in your own neighborhood, but we're finding them traversing all over the area into risk areas and potentially hindering fire personnel and other utility companies that are out there trying to restore order and safety to your communities. Some have asked me, why are you not arresting those individuals and making them leave? The last thing we want to do is to start going hands-on, because it's going to be a resistive arrest, and that is not something that we're wanting to engage in. Again, my earlier comments, I'm yearning, people, please work with us, be cooperative with us. We're trying to do a job for your welfare and everyone's for the greater good. Really speaking, us encountering somebody in a mandatory evacuated area, if we chose to do so, they could be escorted out of the area. If they refuse our order, we could arrest them. You know, there are government code sections under the Emergency Service Act and a couple of penal code sections that give us every authority to actually arrest them if they refuse to leave a mandatory evacuated area. We have made the choice, trying to work with our residents, to not do that. The reality is there would be a number of arrests and they would not go peacefully, and we're trying to avoid that at all costs. That's why we're seeking their cooperation.
Well, I was happy to know that somebody was able to take care of my critters, but at the same time, officers told me people were looting on our road, on the one main road that I live on.
On the point of looting, there's been many rumors and comments made that I've heard this and I've heard that. And I will tell you that when we evacuate an area, it is absolutely incumbent and responsible for us in law enforcement to protect your area. Hence us calling additional law enforcement mutual aid resources from out of the Yuba Sutter area to come in and to cover that area we evacuated. Because once we displace you, I have the responsibility to ensure that we are protecting your home to every degree that we can. We have been patrolling those neighborhoods ever since we've had evacuation orders in place, and we will continue to do so as long as there are evacuation orders. We have had no incidents at this point in time that we can point to that's saying there was looting. Our patrolling forces out there have been, very specifically targeting any individual they encounter that may be suspicious. We're finding there are individuals that did not evacuate when ordered to do so. And we have been spotlighting and driving into residences to see if there's any obvious signs of forced entry to the home. We've done a couple of welfare checks on homes, and we have not, at this point in time, not saying we won't have them, we have not identified any incidents of looting thus far.
Well, that was 2 officers at a roadblock that told me not members of the community or.
Right.
So.
I can't speak to where they got their information, but it is my command staff that's overseeing the patrolling forces, and just this morning I followed up with them again, and at this point in time we don't have any that have come to our attention. Okay? And anyone within the mandatory evacuated area, we are contacting them and certainly identifying who they are. Many of them I don't suspect are looting, that are residents that did not go when ordered to do so, and trying to get them to go back towards their residence and not be driving around. Yes, ma'am.
Is FEMA involved at this point?
They are. They were on site here at the Emergency Operations Center yesterday and interfacing very tightly with Yuba County government officials, the County Administrator's Office, and the Office of Emergency Services here, and they will remain very connected to us throughout this event.
Do we contact them if we need assistance or help, or?
Make an announcement shortly.
Okay, the county administrator to my left is saying there will be making an announcement shortly as to how that is going to unfold.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, folks, thank you very much for coming here, and we'll keep you alerted as things change or other new information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.